if I was talking and you wanted my attention, for you to walk up and say, hey, do you mind Wynter coming and walking with me?
You want me to fight for you? You want me to hit somebody?
Hey guys, and welcome back to Little Black Book. You know what time it is. Today we're talking to you guys about Ready to Love, dealing with Jay and dealing with Wynter. We're going to deal with their actual date and try and get a little bit closer look at what was actually said and what it actually means, because there's a lot of things that were said that need breaking down. So guys, if you are new to this channel, make sure you like, share, subscribe, and you click on that bell button for notifications that uploads. And for those of you who are returning as well, you got the minerals. You got the minerals. All right, cool. Let's get into the video. Don't forget as well, grab your merchandise, mineral hoodies, because listen, it's getting cold out there. Yeah. Oh, the weather outside is delightful. All right, let's get into the video and talk about Ready to Love. So, dealing with obviously Joy, Wynter, and Jay situation. One thing I wanted to say is, listen, it's very interesting because we get an inside view into how this love triangle seems to be playing out. Okay, now Wynter evidently is number 2, and she knows that herself. She's self-aware to realize the connection that Jay and the connection that Jay and Joy seem to be having is much greater than the one that she's having, and she clocks this early, right? We saw this at the pool. So what she's doing this whole entire time is doing catch up.
Overdue date.
I'm all about the overdue date.
And actually, this is a sentiment of a lot of relationships. So let me put this to you now. There is one that you want, okay, and the rest of them are playing catch up, right? When you have a batch of people, oftentimes there's one that you want. And it's that one that you want that you have the most energy for, most time for, most appreciation for. And the rest of them are actually just kind of placeholders. And so what you're seeing right now, unfortunately for Wynter, I mean, I'm sure if Jay was to come out, he probably said, no, I got affection for both of them. And he probably does have an affection for both of them. But one of them is your number 1, right? And so the number 2, irrespective of how that person may feel, is number 2. You know what I mean? And so we want to break down what happened, because there was a conversation between herself and Jay, which I think really needed breaking down. So what was really said? He said he don't know which one will flourish, so he wants to nurture both of them. And what's interesting about this is that because it's a dating game, let's be very frank, you have different options on the table and you're exploring them. Like I said, though, you have one that you really want. You have one that really tickles your boat, that tickles your fantasy, and really gets you feeling a certain type of way. And so what we're seeing with Jay here is that he's smart enough to realize, okay, look, Wynter's giving me vibes. Wynter's giving me a lot of vibes right now. Wynter's wanting my time, my energy, and she's good looking enough for me to spend my time with.
It's one of those that's really going to continue to flourish. And so I want to nourish those. In order for the grass to be green, you got to water it.
And she's pretty enough, and she's smart enough, intellectually enough. I'm getting some type of return on my investment with Wynter. She's a good enough second. I want you to understand this. Just like in a football team, when they have a manager and they have an assistant manager, she's good enough to be second, right? She's a viable choice to be second. Now, this is I'm laying it in the most black and white format so that people understand what I'm saying. I am not saying that Wynter's not good enough. I'm not saying Wynter is not a catch. But what I am saying is, when it comes to Jay, Joy, and Wynter, Wynter is not preferred. And so what he's doing is that he's watering both patches in the hope, again, because it's a competition's a game as well, and part of life is a game, is a competition, in the sense of the fact that sometimes, like I said, you don't get the one that you really want. You water other patches so that it comes good. Why? And here's the thing about watering other patches. Sometimes you're watering that patch so your ego gets fulfilled. We're watering that patch so we don't feel shame for the one that did it, that got away. We're watering that patch because of fear of being alone. We're watching that patch to show ourselves, oh, I can do it. I can get gal. I can get man. I don't, I'm a pretty gal. I'm a pretty man. You understand? And me watching a patch shows me that, yes, I am pretty, I'm good looking, I am wanted, I am desired. You know what I'm saying? And this is the key words I want you to focus on today. The want of desire, okay? This is a key word, desire, Okay, but when we pull it in the wrong format, I'm going to explain later on what I'm talking about, you're going to see that it comes out in a different way that it doesn't need to come out on. That people like having backup plans because they understand that if it fails, again, you don't want to look silly by having, like what happened with KG. What happened to KG with Naya? He put all his eggs in one basket. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just going to let you know. He put all his eggs into one basket, and that's what people fear. They're fearful that if I put all my eggs into one basket, I'll end up like KG, where the person may not feel me the same way I'm feeling them. It doesn't work out, then I get hurt. It's actually one of the defense mechanisms of people to attack, so they're defensive, right? Someone saying the best form of defense is attack.
So I want to nourish those. You know, in order for the grass to be green, you got to water it.
And so what happens is people make extra plan A, B, C, and D gal or A, B, C, and D man. And so when the plan A fails, they go to plan B, and that takes my time. And maybe plan B is actually a good kind of plan, and you may take up plan B as plan A. Or plan B, C, D, and E really weren't good options, but they are placeholding of your time and your energy and making you feel like your ego is not bruised. Okay, it goes for both women and men.
Overdue date.
I'm all about the overdue date.
So what was happening is that, listen, there's two things here. This is her this could be her perception, and this could be the actual truth. And so we have to take it in that form because we don't get all the information. What we're seeing from this is that when she says that, what she's initiating here, she's suggesting here, I don't get enough of your time and I'm wanting more of your time. This is overdue because you should have been taking the lead to take more of my time. Again, she wants to be desired. She wants to be chased. She wants to be courted. She wants to be, she wants to be fought over, as she's going to say later on. And so when she's saying obviously about it's due time, again, it's because she's also in competition with Joy too. Right. And the whole thing is this, that nobody wants to feel like, that not even everybody wants it, but when someone's attention is divided, you feel it. When someone's entire intentions on you, you feel it. When someone's dividing their time, you will feel it because that person doesn't have you as priority, but has other things as priority. And you start to see that in the way that they behave. And so what we're seeing from Wynter here is, I believe, a subconscious coming to the conscious, which is saying your priority seems to be Joy, and I'm trying to wrestle some of your time. It's almost like the child, the daughter, trying to get more of her time of daddy. She's trying to get time. And so, her saying it's long overdue is that, listen, hey, I've been here. I've been waiting. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and this is why the conversation later on is so important, where she says, if you want to come and spend time with me, come and grab me. Listen, if he wasn't doing it before, he isn't going to do it now. Like, if he wasn't doing it before, he probably isn't going to do it now because he didn't want to do it in the first place. Okay, so, again, I want to say this as well. It could be her perception that she's not getting enough time from Jay because we don't have enough information. We don't get to see the whole 24 hours worth of their day or whatever. We don't know 100%. From the clips that we are seeing and from what she said, she's aware that Joy is number one priority, and therefore almost like she's fighting to compete for his love and for his attention. Do you feel what I'm saying? And I want to say this, you don't want to be in that place. You do not want to be in a place where you're having to fight for someone's attention and begging them for more of their time, right? Unless you're in a committed relationship where that can happen, right? But if you're just not even dating yet, you're just kind of like getting to know, you don't want to be begging someone for their time, right? Because at the end of the day, you expect a certain level of attention from the person who's fully attentive to you. Okay.
I just want to know where your head is. The situation with you and Joy. It makes me question, like, if our connection is real.
Okay, attention equals being wanted. Attention equals being desired. Attention means making me feel special, right? That's both women and men, but let's just talk about women specifically. That's important, right? And so later on, after that, Jaden says, Simone, Joy, whoa, how many words am I going to mix up? Wynter then says, she questions her connection with Jay. Now, why does she question her connection with Jay? Because she's in competition, right? Because her time that she's getting is not enough for her. And so now she feels like her connection with Jay may not be authentic. And the reason why she's questioning it again is because, again, Joy's in the picture, right? And so when you feel like you're not number one, of course you're going to question the connection. Is it real? Is he just wanting me for the time being? Especially when after you've been on, especially when you're going to be on a date with Brian later on as well, and he says half the things that don't even show that he actually really wants you. And obviously as well, not only that, her position in the villa is slightly shifting. The reason why is because obviously, yes, she had a connection with Edwin. We saw that as well. But it seems like obviously Edwin had kind of shifted his attention now to Joy. Okay, and shifted his attention to Naya at the time. So just deep it. You're watching this. If you're Wynter and you're watching Edwin, kind of dissipate, your Brian connection, which it didn't seem like it was really there. The only person you got left was Jay, right? You had a bit of Anthony, but it seems like we haven't seen much of her and Anthony anyway, so we can't really speculate. Obviously, she's obviously popular. We know that Anthony liked her, he found her attractive because he said, Wynter orange. But what we're seeing here is that as you're starting to, and I think as your options begin to dwindle, so does the feeling of power begin to go with it. Because options gives you power, right? Because you have more options you can choose. And also with options, it makes you feel cooler and you're able to take time because you're not in a rush, because the fear often comes from is desperation of being alone. The fear of being alone, the fear of being left aside, and the fear of feeling like nobody will want me is not going to be there when you have many options to fall back on. Right? So when you start to see that happening, we got here, questioning her connection now with Jay. She's actually vying for the same amount of attention that she feels that Joy's probably potentially getting. Right? She's actually subconsciously telling Jay, I'm vying and I'm fighting for the same level of priority and attention that she...
It's really, I feel bad because it's one-sided. Like, I want to do what I'm doing, but I don't want
Right. You want me to sit at the house? I can't wait till she get home from my date.
And she goes and say, it's really... I feel bad because it's one-sided, right? I want to do what I'm doing, but I don't want you to basically do what you're doing, right? And so what she's saying here is that, and this is human nature. This is about control, right? This is about control, and I'm saying this for you guys. It's about what? Control and power, okay? And oftentimes this often happens when we've been hurt when we're young. This happens when we've been hurt in a relationship previously. This happens when we've learned about life and realized, listen, can't give that person power because they do you dirt. So what we do is we try to control the narrative. So what she's saying here is, she said, I wanted it to, I know it's not good, I know it's not right, but I wanted it to be one-sided in the sense of the fact that I want you to go on your dates, not enjoy them, not like Joy, not basically, this is what she's basically saying in the totality, not like Joy, not like anything, but obviously I want to still be able to date and enjoy my dates, etc., 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 right? But I want you to want me. Right? And that's what she's saying about the one-sidedness. Now, that's the selfishness of us people, because when we've been hurt, we want to be able to control the narrative. We want to be able to control the story. We want to control the direction and the path the story is taking. Right? And many people do this in dating stage all the time, right? That's why I said even having options can be a power play, because it allows you to be more cooler and be like, okay, cool, you know what? I'm not going to make no sudden movements, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to fret about, what time do I message back? What time do I call back? Do I call back straight away? Do I not? Am I busy? Am I not busy? Like all this kind of extra stuff that people kind of think about, how to play the game goes out the window, because once you've got options, you just like, well, I didn't have time and I really didn't have time. Do you know what I'm saying? And so what she's saying here, okay, is the reason why they're talking about how she wants to control the flow of the thing. And she's aware of this. So when she presents it, she's not presenting it as if she's not trying to be manipulative to him. What she's saying is, I'm aware, and I call it dark arts. I'm aware of this dark thought in my mind that I'm saying to you that in my head, I want you not to go on dates. I don't want you to enjoy your dates. I don't want you to kind of like, have a good time, but I still want to have a good time, right? And that comes from a place of when you've been hurt, because you want to be able to control what happens to you next. It's a form of power. All right, and I'm not trying to say she's bad or anything. This is, a lot of us human beings are in this place. All right, unless you've got a secure attachment, most of us will do this at some shape and point in time as well.
You want me to sit at the house? I can't wait till she get home from my date. I hope everything goes bad. I'm not that type of brother, man.
I wouldn't mind.
Right? He says he's not that type of brother. He said, I'm not gonna fret over your dates. Now that spoke to desire and want, because what Wynter is subconsciously sending out signals to him is that I want to feel desired and wanted. This is what she wants. But the way she's going to communicate it is very important, because there's an air of, I don't want to say it, there's an air of desperation here, right? Not in a rude way. But what she's communicating isn't necessarily, it's not necessarily desire and want, right? In its trueness. Almost like a diamond that hasn't been refined. It's like what she's communicating here, and we're gonna talk about this in a second, is that she wants the desire packaged in a certain way. Okay? And so what he hears is, listen, I'm not gonna fret over you. You want me to fret over you. I can't fret over you. Right? So he's quote unquote putting her in a place, I'm gonna call it that. He's letting her know from the jump, that's not me. I don't jump through the hoops. So if you're looking for the guy that's going to give you that kind of desire, attention and want, I'm not going to give it to you. Not from that angle. I'm not going to be waiting for you and begging, looking, thinking to myself, oh, I wonder if. No, I won't. I've got things to move on. I've got things to do. There's other girl I got, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to fawn over you. I'm not going to worship you. And this is something that's also important. Women want to feel special. They want to feel like they're cared for. They want to feel adored. They want to feel worshipped in some sense. Not all women, but some sense, right? And so what he's talking to is saying, listen, I'm not going to adore you. I'm not going to worship you. I'm not going to fall at your feet. Okay? Right? I have other things I've got to focus on. And the maddest thing is, women, I've said this to you guys before, women want men that don't worship them. Right? But they want worshippers. I'll say it again. Women don't want the man that they want to worship them, but they want worshippers. Right? What does that mean? It means the very guy that you want to feel attracted to, that you want to like you, shouldn't worship the ground you walk on, because you understand through your programming, which I believe is godly, is that you do not want to rule over your man. No. You want him to rule. You want him to lead. You want him to take control.
You want me to sit at the house? I can't wait till she get home from my date. You know, I hope everything goes bad. I'm not that type of brother, man.
I want control of the situation. Do you understand? Right? And so when obviously you're looking at it, you don't want the worshippers who say you're buff, you're pretty, you're amazing, and I'm not saying you can't throw compliments, but I'm saying those people that are worshiping you, you're like, yeah, I like it, worship me, because you're filling my ego and I'm getting my attention that I want, but that's not the one I want to settle with. And so what he's speaking to her is saying, listen, I'm regulating it. I don't do them kind of things there. You know what I mean? I'm not a worshiper like that. You feel what I'm saying? And so, he then obviously explains and says, she explains, says, I wouldn't mind if I was talking and if you wanted my attention and saying, do you mind, Wynter, if we go walk with me? Right? Listen to what she's saying here. I wouldn't mind if I was talking. So she's talking to someone. It could be male or female. And this is just listen to what I'm saying. And you wanted my attention and saying, do you mind, Wynter, if you walk with me? So she's already engaged in something, and she's saying she wouldn't mind it if she's engaged in something and you come along and speak to her. Right? Now, this ordinarily is everybody wants to feel like they're wanted and desired, right? But listen to what Jay's gonna clock, because Jay's a smart guy. Listen, he's picking up on signals. He's not an idiot. He's a very smart guy, right? So listen to what he says. He goes,